You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hi there, Bold and the Beautiful fans. I've got your weekly prediction edition. We're going to talk about Sheila targeting Poppy for fondling Finn and other fun stuff. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not subscribed, please click that button. We have got predictions for Finn and Luna, for Sheila and Poppy, for Hope and Carter, for Lee and Jack, and for Bill, Luna, and Finn. Let's dive into it with our very first prediction. Is there going to be another Luna DNA test? Is Finn going to test himself? So last week, we saw Jack Finnegan denying he slept with Lee's sister Poppy and assuring his ex-wife there's no chance he could be Luna's dad. But we all saw Lee in full psycho mode, attacked him, forcibly withdrew his blood for a DNA test, but it gave that vague result, the you're not the daddy. Not any info on whether he and Luna share any DNA, which is what we need. Poppy, meanwhile, looked really nervous when Lee said she had a sample of Luna's blood, maybe because she was expecting the kind of test that tells you what percentage match you are. If Jack had been 50%, he would have been her parent. 25%, you're a grandparent. Next week, or maybe a sibling. Next week, on Tuesday, January 28th, Lee talks to Finn about who really is Luna's dad, because she wants to know. And she shares the accusations she made against Poppy and Jack because he was a cheater. And then the next day, on Wednesday, the 29th, Finn calls Poppy into his office with a whole host of questions, and he tells her, be honest with him. And when Finn pushes, Poppy asks why he wants to know about Luna, and Finn says, you know why I want to know. That's from the promo, and it sounds like Poppy did get into Finn's sheets, and he definitely remembers. I was wondering if he was drunk or drugged, but sounds like he knows something. You know, maybe it was just once, but sometimes that's all it takes is once. And I suspect another DNA test is coming because casting news for next week says that lab tech April is back, and she's usually around for lab test. And who else would they test at this point but Finn and Luna? Bill's not the dad, Tom's not the dad, Jack's not the dad. So I wonder if Finn will figure this out for himself and decides to go ahead and find out, because he needs to know, does he have a grown daughter who's a diabolical killer? Our second prediction, Sheila targets Poppy for bedding Finn. Now, of course, this prediction leans on my first prediction about Poppy and Finn and her having his baby. Next week on Monday, January 27th, Sheila is spying on Jack at Il Giardino. Looks like he's there with Lee. I've seen a spoilers photo, but the spoilers also mention that Poppy is supposed to be there. So we'll see if she pops up too, or if it was just a weird phrased spoiler. Anyway, Sheila contrives a reason to come talk to them, and I suspect the last thing Lee Finnegan wants is the psycho that Jack cheated with her, serving her breadsticks at lunch. Sheila is supposed to be involved in a storyline soon, and if it's about Finn knocking up his adoptive aunt, that would be a doozy. Can you imagine how enraged Sheila Carter would be if she found out Finn's aunt seduced him? I mean, Sheila seems reformed, but if she thinks Poppy was preying on her son, oh my gosh, well, that could spell murderous trouble, and Poppy needs to rethink all her actions and should probably just pack a bag and leave LA. Right now, Lee feels bad about accusing her of bedding Jack, but if Lee finds out her sister slept with her son, well, Lee might join Sheila in targeting Poppy for a takedown. Our third prediction, Hope gives Carter plenty of room to betray her. Last week, Hope was a lot of big talk about Daphne Rose coming to Forster to work with the Coup crew while she was talking with Steffi, and Hope told Carter, do whatever it takes to seal the deal with Daphne. And let's face it, Carter was picking up what Daphne was putting down. Carter knew she was flirting with him. Daphne even left him her scarf that smelled so sexy, and he was sniffing it later. But then Hope was in the room congratulating him and closing the deal and all that. Next week, Carter and Hope are again making out in his office. But things may cool off soon because Steffi already warned Hope that if they landed Daphne, then Carter would be spending lots of time with her working on the fragrance, and Hope is fine with this because she's so caught up in proving to the Forresters that they can run their own company better than them. She's so happy that Steffi is there under her thumb. She's just not seeing things clearly. She's looking in the wrong direction. Hope wants that fragrance to be a hit because she thinks she and Carter are on the fast track to, take Forrester Creations Supernova. So Hope's going to push Carter to take all the time he needs to work with Daphne. And Carter already seems like he is on the hook. And the messed up thing is Hope's giving him enough room to betray her. And she's been betrayed before. If Carter doesn't tell Hope on Monday that Daphne was flirting, then I think it's all over. But just the details, he's going to fall. Hope will be blindsided, and Forrester may be back to its rightful owners during sweeps. We'll see. Our fourth prediction, Lee rejects Jack. He is still not forgiven. Next week, Lee and Jack have lunch at Il Giardino. And if you remember last week, he said when Lee had called him that he was excited thinking she actually wanted to see him. And remember, Jack's not the one who wanted the divorce. He wanted forgiveness and to stay with her, but Lee tossed him out. With these false accusations about Jack and Poppy out of the way, Jack might hope that Lee will rethink tossing him out of her life. And I think Jack might suggest a date or skip right to reconciling, and he may be flirting and trying to convince her. And I mean, gosh, look at Ted King. How can you tell that silver fox no? Well, I think Lee is about to give Jack a master class in rejection by shutting him down hard. Even if he didn't bang Poppy, he did cheat with Sheila and gaslit Lee into adopting their son. And of course, she's so happy to have Finn in her life, but I just don't think forgiveness and reconciliation are on the menu at Il Giardino next week. Our last prediction, Finn finds out Bill took Luna. We've got Finn having some suspicions about the timing of Poppy's pregnancy next week after Lee Finnegan opens up and tells him she DNA tested both Tom Starr and his dad, Jack Finnegan, and neither are Poppy's baby daddy. If Lee had just said she tested Tom Starr, maybe it wouldn't have crossed Finn's mind, but when Lee reminds Finn that she suspected Poppy and Jack because she was starting as a doctor when he was in college, and that's when Poppy was living with them when she got pregnant. So Lee reminding Finn of the timing may be why he starts doing some math. And next week, spoilers say Finn confronts Poppy, and so he may demand this DNA test. And of course, we have lab tech April on hand. And if Finn is Luna's father, obviously he's going to want to go see her in prison, maybe to see if he feels any biological connection. And obviously, because he'd be horrified to know that he was kept away from his daughter all these years, even if Luna is a killer. So if Finn does go trotting to the prison to see his daughter, if he is the dad, then he may be the first one to find out Luna is not serving time where she's supposed to be. And that should lead him straight to Bill Spencer. And then all hell is going to break loose because her real daddy, Finn, may expose Bill's shenanigans to everybody.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.